Boom. All right. All right. Here we go. Just gonna go ahead and get started. Zoom user, you're first. Talk to me. What's going on, my brother? And if you're not
Hey,
there, if you okay, there
can
you
you hear
go.
me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
All right, cool. Hey, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. I am fairly new and I've just been getting into options more recently here. And one issue that I've been encountering, I guess, is I have my targets when I'm going to get into a trade. I go to buy, a call or a put, and you buy it, and you already see like you're in the red. Like you get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right away, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm down 3%, I'm down 5%. It's like I've cut those before, and like, all right, just risk management, like just eat that. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I'm not getting any time for the play to actually play out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I've done other trades where I'm like, all right, I'm going to let it sit, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, now I'm down 12%. On now I'm down 20%. Like where do you draw that line when you first get into that play where you're already kind of in the red right away?
Yeah.
How do you know when to like, or how low you let that go until you want to see how it plays out for the road, right? Like how does that make sense?
No, that's a great question. I know exactly what you're asking, and I've been there. First of all, I just want to address that. That shit is the worst when you get into a position and you're down. You're like, come on, man. Are you kidding me? Like you've been in a position 2 minutes and you're red already. Yeah,
Right.
that's the worst. I understand. And as far as letting things play out, it comes down to your position and your risk management. So, and then what kind of trader you are. Yeah, you said you're fairly new, so these are things that you're going to learn over time as well. The more you implement them, this is a strategy that I use that works very well for me. It was a game changer. Is really just having multiple accounts, and I'm not saying having 6 accounts, but I have 3 different accounts that I use regularly, and for positions that I don't want to micromanage, that I really believe in, that I think are going to play out in a couple weeks or a couple months, then I go in an appropriate size for my tolerance and I put it into an account that I don't really look at. For
Sure.
example, I'm in positions right now for gap that expire in March. I have a size in there that it's like, if it was to go to zero, would I be salty? Sure, but it's not going to hurt me in any way. It's like, okay, whatever, it's fine. It's just a trade that didn't work out. So, there's a lot of people that they go into positions in heavy size because they want the massive returns, and it ends up not working out. And then now you're panicking, considering taking, cutting the position before like it actually plays out. And some people, when you assess what kind of trader you are and you assess your personality, strengths and weaknesses, not everybody can stomach being down 25%, but sometimes those do come back and they go up 100% positive. But for me, this is my preference. Like, I don't like letting losers just marinate and sit there. That's why I have a separate account where if I have strong enough conviction, I don't even look at it. So whatever happens, I'll look at it every week or so. And if it's something that doesn't even make sense anymore, if the market conditions aren't favorable, then I'll cut. But on my day trading account and my scalping account, I cut losers fast and I have no regrets. I don't look back, right? It's like, I want to make sure that I focus on winning. I want to focus on the winning trades. I want to be used to seeing green. So it's like, okay, if I go in, and I'm at the point now in my career where I'm taking less trades and I'm just going in with more size. So like if I was consistently getting 20 to let's 80% on my positions, but I'm going in light, now I just got to take less, make less room for error, go in a little bit heavier, still get those same percentages, but those dollar amounts are significantly higher, So I think it comes down to just you knowing your strengths and weaknesses, but at least starting out, you want to cut those losers fast. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes the trade isn't ready and you can get back into it later and
Right.
execute and get those gains you want, and that happens all the time, but being like taking, or not taking care of, because I don't want to, yeah, I'll prefer to say exercising discipline, where it's just like, yeah, okay, this is down, I'm just gonna cut it and get back in later. Making that decision is very difficult, but that can make or break your portfolio because You're being selfish with your account, as you should be. As you should be. There's people that, let things just burn and go down 15%. And then, all right, I'm just going to wait for it to go back down to 10%. And then I'll get out. And then that 15 goes to 25. And you're like, all
Yep.
right, I'll wait to get to 20 and then I'll cut. And then you're down 40. And then it's just fucking spiraling out of control, like
Yep.
I've been there. I
For sure.
understand. I understand. So it's just a matter of like, nah, like being selfish. Me like, yo, fuck this. I'm out of here. I'll come back
Now,
later. It's all good. Go ahead.
I know on the opposite side of things too. Now, when you, all right, cool, I got in this play and it's going the way that I had anticipated, right?
Yep.
And okay, now I got, three like, I bought this and now it's at 10%, right? And I sell two out of the three that I got. And now this third one, I'm going to let maybe just run, right? I want to take my profits. Now for this third one, are you moving up your stop loss as it continues to go up? Like, all right, now it's at 20%. Now I'm going to move my stop loss to 10.
Yeah.
Now it's at 50%. Now I'm going to move it up to 25. Like, because I've also been doing that where I'm moving it up and then all of a sudden I'll do like a little take back, come back a little bit and then it'll take off. But I got stopped out because it hit at the 25%. And also now it's at, 100. You know what I mean? Like, is that just a personal preference as well?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely do think it's a personal preference. I was a trailing stop loss enthusiast with every single trade that I took, specifically in 2020, early 2021 of this year, So I was doing trailing stop losses on everything, but I was also taking a lot of trades, right? So it's difficult when let's say you're in 7 trades and things are volatile, moving all over the place, and now you're trying to like, to manage everything. Those trailing
Yeah.
stop losses are a game changer because it's all about risk management and surviving to fight another day. If you're green, then okay, mission accomplished. But if you're not, you want to make sure that the losses are smaller than the wins. And that's growth. Obviously, 1 + 1 is 2. But I think it comes down to preference, because now I don't really use stop losses. I do everything manually. And whatever I'm feeling comfortable with, when I see that percentage amount or that dollar amount, it depends on the size of the trade. Then I'll make my decisions from there, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm down 15%. It's fine. I'm out of here. No regrets. And I don't look back,
Sure.
unless the opportunity presents itself, then it's like, okay, now let's try this again. So I think it definitely comes down to preference. I do think it is a great strategy. Basically, it goes under just scaling out of positions. I always scale out of positions, and that's the power of playing heavier. So for example, let's say, I get 100 contracts of something. Once I get to like 15, 20%, I'm selling at least 25, 30, 35. It just depends on, how I'm feeling at that moment. Right. So that's how I do it. And then I get to ideally play for free. So then I can swing and let the play out to its maximum, potential, and not be sweating because I already took my initial out. I think that's a great strategy. That's what I do now, and I don't. It's one of those things that keep doing what works. Don't try to
Sure.
reinvent the wheel or fix what's not broken. It's like I think it's a great strategy, and I'm a huge advocate for cutting losers fast, and just moving on to the next trade.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. I'm happy to help. Thank you for tapping in. Yo, Randy, what's good, man? Talk to me.
So hey, thank you for answering one of my questions. I been trading for 9 months now,
Mhm.
and what I was focused on, I got presented with a chat that was like focused on breakouts,
Okay.
scalping, and like it didn't work out for me. I tried swing trading, but it wasn't really like it might be something I could have got into, but I wasn't sure about it. So that would bring me to ask you, like, how often are you scalping and how often are you swinging? Pros, cons, and what do you think about the breakout strategy, which I'm
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like iffy
That
about.
that's basically momentum trading. Yeah, for sure. I understand. and I do a little bit of all of them. It all comes down to preference. You have to know yourself. You have to be honest with your account size, and then you take it from there, as far as like what's working and what's not working. So for example, in 2020, swing trading was like the easiest thing ever. You can throw anything at the wall and it's going to stick. It was that type of year. It was a great year for a lot of people. But that wasn't the case this year. This year, you couldn't just swing trade willy-nilly. The market condition, you have to take that into consideration. It's like if things are an aggressive selling, why are you getting calls trying to buy or catch a falling knife? So I had to change my strategy because I was exclusively swing trading. And I'm like, yeah, like scalping is cool, but I want the big gains, and the big gains sometimes happens overnight, so um it comes down to market condition, you being honest with yourself, you as far as your portfolio size and your personality. Like there's people that they say, oh yeah, I want to be a swing trader, but they get into swing positions and then they're tossing and turning at night, or they're in a swing trade for a day and the next day like, oh my god, oh no, like like that's technically a swing, but you want to get into positions that you're not panicking over them. That means you're playing too heavy. And when you're doing that, then you start being emotional. And once you're emotional, you're ready behind the 8 ball. And that's the worst place that you want to be in. So as far as momentum trading, I think it's a good starter situation, but you have to conquer that greed factor, because when you're playing breakouts and momentum, plays, it's kind of like you want to do that with an account that's clean. And what I mean by a clean account is that you're not in 5 different trading positions. So you're not looking at your P&L go crazy all over the place. You're literally just taking it one trade at a time, and you're playing one trade, one momentum trade. You're getting to that percentage that you're comfortable with, right? And you a realistic number as well. You're not going to get into a momentum trade and go for 200%. Like 20% is amazing, and it's amazing. And when you're doing options, you can get that in 45 seconds, that you're getting 20%. And there's people that literally take that number and completely exit their position, and it's a winning trade. Can it continue? Yes, but you're not worried about that. You just want the wins, right? So that's something that earlier this year, I transitioned from swing trading to momentum trading. And I would get my percentages and I'm like, all right, got a blast. Oh man, I made 3 trades today. I'm done. I had a great day, right? So it just comes down to you being honest with yourself, and then you just taking it one trade at a time to figure out what's working. And when it's not working, that's when you really got to make some changes, because in this market, especially over the last couple of weeks, yeah, there's been green days, but there's been really horrible days. And if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're like trying to force things, that's where you blow up your account. And this is not like a video game where there's a checkpoint that, oh, when you get clapped, you just go back to the checkpoint. No, this is real life money. So you got to be really careful, and everything has to be intentional, strategic, right? Does this make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I'll stick to what I know, and I'll keep you updated on progress. Thank you.
Please, yeah, definitely, man. Like stay tapping in. However I can help, I'm always down. I've been there. So I understand where it's like you're kind of trying all these different things, and it's like, fuck, nothing's working. But it's just like you just got to keep showing up every day and sharpening that sword, and then eventually you're gonna find your edge. Once you get your edge, it's like, oh yeah, and sometimes that changes, and that's okay. Sometimes your edge changes because the market condition is going to change too. So you got to adapt, and you got to continue moving into what works for you. Yeah, Elizo is recorded, my guy. But yeah, man, just definitely keep showing up. The score 0-0 every day. If you're gonna focus on momentum trading, try to go with a clean account. I would recommend having multiple accounts for everybody. Doesn't matter what kind of trader you are. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to have all your shares in one position and you're day trading on it. So when your shares are down, now you're trading from a place of have not. When you're not fully focus and move with boldness and unswerving confidence, that's when you make mistakes, and you let winners become losers, or you're not letting winners run It's like you're doing the opposite of cutting losers fast. You're cutting the winners fast, and I could go on and on and on about that, but it's just a matter of just doing what works consistently over and over and over again. And if it's not working, then continue to change and ask questions and learn. It's education before compensation. And then you execute until the point that it's like, yo, I got this. This is my edge.
Thank you.
No problem. Daniel, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, just living, bro. I'm back from my little vacation. I'm activated. I'm excited. I'm ready for tomorrow and for the rest of the year. Just trying to be my best version of myself and then serve while I'm here.
I hear that. So here's my question. If you are, let's say you're starting a new account, right? And let's say you have some experience, let's say, would it make sense so that you are not being as risky? Like, how options are pretty much 100 shares, right? Let's say, would you purchase the 100 shares and kind of make that move of the 100 shares? And like, let's say you had a bad day, you hold on to those 100 shares until you make that back? Or would it make more sense just to do the option way and, that's lower cost? You understand my question?
No, yeah, I understand. I mean, for me though, I never went that route. I just, and I guess it, I guess it depends on who you bring that up to, where it's just like, I went straight into it. I went straight into options. I didn't paper trade. I didn't, try to do spreads, like the lower risk type of trading. I just went straight shooting. Also take into consideration that if you have something that's, $40, or even if it's $25, like AT&T, not everybody can just buy 100 contracts of that. Is you got to be very realistic with the masses. Not everybody just has, $10,000 just ready to trade with. That's not realistic. So that's where the power of options come in, because you can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money, right? Like if you see my pinned tweet, I got docu inputs 700 to 25,000, and that wasn't even my biggest win ever at all, like not even close. But it was one of the most meaningful, because it's like this was less than $1,000 that became 25, and people, people can come up with $700. So it just comes down to your own like personal preference. Especially like for the newer traders, I always stress, just take it one trade at a time. When you're a newer trader, you kind of get the FOMO. You see like a whole bunch of things going on. It's kind of like it's a casino, right? You see all the lights and if you're in a community, if you're trading with other people, it's like, oh man. But you just got to take it one trade at a time and just get used to seeing that consistent green, those consistent wins. And then it's like, yeah, when a loss comes, it's like you brush it off because you're such a winner. Psychologically, you just know the vibes, you've experienced it enough that it's like, okay, whatever, losses are part of the game and you're going to keep moving forward. But, I can't speak on buying 100 shares and trying to sell options or anything like that, because I've never done that before.
Yeah, no, only reason why I asked because so I jumped into options. So I did like the regular stocks, and then I jumped into options and I got smacked up, blew up an account. And I said, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm like right now I'm straight focusing on like technical and fundamental analysis right now so literally 2022 is when I'll jump back into it and kind of like start, because what I was doing was I would see the 20% green and then I'd hold on to it a little bit longer.
You let the winners become losers. Yeah, exactly. I get it. Man, if I had $1 for how many people do that, like I would have a multi-million-dollar account, bro. Like it's not uncommon at all. Blowing up an account is not uncommon. Like that's something that, and it's hard until you experience a 6-figure account that you started from, being under 5 figures. Once you accomplish that and you get to the point where it's just like you're doing this and you can, you work because you want to, or like this is something you do full time and you really enjoy it and this funds your lifestyle. You look back at like the blown up accounts, and you laugh about it because you're like, yo, like that shit is crazy. It comes down to just not quitting and continue to show up because you see what's possible, from people that do the same thing that you're doing. That it happens all the time. For my humble beginnings, I blew up an account 2 weeks after starting it. I started an account with $5,000. I took a shot and it was over. I was like, well, I know to never do that again. Like, where the hell is $5,000 going to come out of it? Like, out of nowhere? That's not a thing. I lost that. Right. It's like, damn, in 2 weeks. So I understand. I've been there. And it just comes down to just that, taking those wins. 20% is a win. One trade at a time. You don't got to be in 5 different trades. Like, that's something that, a lot of people don't talk about, or like for newer traders, they just kind of figuring it out. And like, I understand that, because every person that you ever come across that has traded options, every single one of them has blown up account before. Every single one of them have let losers become winners. These are just things that are just human psychology. And when you don't know what you don't know. And that's why I love having these sessions, because I love talking about this, because I think it's extremely important. I remember at one point in my career, I went on an insane losing streak. It was like, I went red every Friday for like 9 weeks. Every Friday it was red. And it was me like trying to play around with the 0 days and me letting winners become losers. And it was just terrible. And I'm just like, damn, like I had to make a change. And it wasn't like I was doing the same thing over and over for 9 weeks. That would literally be insane. But what my changes they just weren't working, until I was like, yo, you know what? I'm just going to take one trade today. And if I'm green, then I break the streak. And I did that. And then I did it again and again and again. And I'm just like, yo, like, this is what works. I only got to focus on one trade. And if I'm positive, I'm out. And like, I don't know if you was here in the beginning, that 20%, when you go in with size, it's very satisfying. I can promise you that. It's like 20% of $100 is not the same of 20% of $5,000, and so on and so forth, right? But you got to grow your account to that. And you can't let winners become losers. There's been so many times that, I get to 20% and I sell, and then it goes to 40, 50, 80. And I'm like, fuck, but it's fine. You can't FOMO. You got to be like, yo, like, I'm not trading for anybody else's account. I'm trading for my account. And if I'm green right now, and if this is money that I can use, that could change my life, that could fund my lifestyle, what the hell do I have to complain about? What am I greedy for? So that's kind of like, that's just how I go about it. And I hope that answered your question and helps.
Definitely. Thank you, man. I think in the beginning I was just doing one contract, so that 20% didn't seem like a lot. So I get 100% what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro. You do that over and over and over, consistently see those wins. Now you have a strategy. Now you're doing something that works. And once you got that, then it's like, yo, let me go in with size. And sometimes that shit doesn't work. But when it does, you're like, oh yeah. And if you're winning more than you're losing, then now you're up and it's stuck. Like if you look at like my main account, actually, if I'm looking at it from like a 3-year like chart, you can literally see the time periods where I got clapped, super clapped. But zooming out, it's lower lows and higher highs. You know what that means? Like, are you familiar with that term? Lower lows and higher highs?
That's the technical analysis I've been studying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So lower lows and higher highs. So it's just like, yeah, like
Been going up.
It's going up. That's what matters. That's what we're doing this for. We're going up. But yeah. Ashley, what's going on? Talk to me.
Hey, yeah, thank you for answering my questions. I actually have 2 for you. And the first, for a while now, I've been, studying, so I'm kind of past the point of learning, resistance and, supply and demand zones and all that. Yeah. So I was wondering what kind of helped you step up your game to make your plays actually profitable, because a lot of my plays really is just bad timing, right? I see a potential play, but I guess I just don't have the right timing for it. So I don't know what kind of upped your game once you kind of know like the fundamental and technical analysis. Like what helped you become profitable?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. And I think it's just adding to the bag, right? So what I mean is like, you know, when you know support and resistance, like you said, right? But then it's like there's other indicators as well. Like for me, I at one point I had like 10 different indicators like on my TOS, and I'm like, yeah, this is not working for me. I like Weeble. I'm way more comfortable on Weeble, and I only need a checklist of 5 indicators. I'm okay with this. This is what works for me. So it's like I got my MACD, my RSI. I manually draw my support and resistance. I got my VWAP, EMA, 220-day moving average, and then my Bollinger Bands, right? So I'm like, this is what works for me. So now it's like I got all these indicators. Now it just comes down to the market condition and what's happening. Of course, fundamental analysis, but I've already done that. I do that before I even take a trade. Why am I taking this trade? It has to be a reason, right? There's either earnings coming up, they have an investor day, there's an obnoxious amount of call sweeps coming in through Flow Algo or Quant Data or Cheddar Flow or any of these different services that share that information, and depending on what Discord you're in, they have that information as well. Proper Rocket Club has that. And it just comes down to following the flow and the catalyst that supports why I'm even taking this play. Once all those things are in harmony, it's game time. It's game time, So it's like it can't, one thing just can't go without the other. Things have to be in harmony. And I think that was a defining moment once I figured out that system. It's like, for example, with Docu, I'm already here with Docu. You see this large gap. This was earnings. They got clapped on earnings. The only reason why I didn't play heavier is because I'm over here playing Apple, and I know that I have a do not trade list that Apple is on. It's just it doesn't work, and that's okay. It is what it is. So I this was a day that I traded Apple and Docu, only those two. And I knew I shouldn't have played Apple, but Apple was going crazy. I felt like everybody was winning, and I fell into FOMO. Damn it. All right, whatever. But I knew I wanted to play Docu for earnings. Why? Because I saw the technical analysis of it showing weakness, having an H pattern, looking like it's about to break the 9 EMA. And that's exactly what it did. And also just like my common sense of like, how would they have good guidance moving forward? Good guidance when it comes to earnings is like, how are they going to make more money? It's not that they're trash or that they're going to go away, but what's going to be their next step to make money so that investors can continue putting money into them, right? So all these different things. And I could go into more details, but, just for the sake of time, it's like all 3 things in harmony allowed me, gave me the conviction and confidence to play puts. And that's what I did. And it ended up being a trade that worked out. Now I switch hats because now it's been consolidating. And the more something consolidates, the stronger the move. And that can be in either direction. Now, I'm looking at it as a point where this is one of my strategies as well. Gaps get filled. Price has memory. Sometimes it's in the same day. Sometimes it's in a week or a month. Nobody knows. The Mr. Market knows. I don't know, but it's just like, I know that price has memory. So I take these things into consideration, and I got my checklist of indicators, my fundamental analysis. Now I just got to pull the trigger and believe in it, and watch the market condition to see if it's favorable for my position. And if it's not, then I'll cut and I'll re-enter. Right. But it's like, that's something, if you take anything away, is that the checklist of everything in harmony, and just remembering that price has memory and gaps get filled. And I look for that all the time in a lot of different positions. I'll start on a higher time frame, and then the due diligence continues from there. And once I have enough confidence, I let it fly.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I definitely took a lot of gems from that. And my next question was actually about Docu. I kind of just wanted to know your thought process of, when it comes to that trade. I think your tweet was the play that you mentioned was in January, right? January 21st, I think was the date you had. So kind of just your thought process on docu right now. I know, like you mentioned, it's been consolidating, and really a lot of the market has, right? It's not moving in either direction. So just kind of your thought process. What is it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this, like, I have the same type of enthusiasm for a couple of others, like AT&T, and just the market in general. From a historic standpoint, January is, it's a bullish month for the market. So that's why I gravitated towards January. And it's like, it's the beginning, we're going to enter the first quarter, right? And I'm like, okay, if the market condition goes by what history, presented in the past, then things are looking lit. we just don't know if it's going to be the same, because history repeats itself, but sometimes things get very unusually different, right? So like for me, I'm still looking at it. It's like, despite all the earnings, how much it dumped and everything, we still got 23 analysts that are giving it strong buy and hold ratings, right? The average price target is $210. I don't even care if it goes to $210. I'm happy if it goes to $185. That's a winning trade, like crazy, for January contracts. And it has two gaps as well. Like, just zoom out, like the support and resistance clearly on support. Try to zoom out a little bit. Like, if you look here, this is a baby gap as well, that it gapped up and it never filled. It's still not filled because it never came back down. It went under it. So now there's this gap to fill right here. Hope you guys can see that. I know I've got some lines in here, but yeah, there's this gap to fill, and then the massive gap from earnings. So now it has two gaps. So I'm just like, okay, that's giving me between that and, the analysis from the analyst ratings and, any news, like reasons to hold docu in your portfolio, just going through all of these things, right? It gives me confidence. And if the market condition is as favorable as I anticipated, this is going to fill this gap. At least the first one, which is still, over $190 between is $200 basically. And that would be an incredible win. But it's like, it's not going to happen just because I wanted to. This has been days just a little choppy sideways. It had a great day today, but just got to be patient and wait. And then you got to go in with a position that, like, if it goes to 99% down, you're like, oh, well, it didn't work out. You hate to see it. All good. Next trade. Now, ideally, that's not what you want. Of course not, right? But that's kind of like, you need that peace of mind for swing trading. You don't want to be tossing and turning all night.
Yeah.
And then, if things present itself, then you average in accordingly. You average down, or maybe you're green and you average up, and then you go in with size, and then you can scalp, or, if you're swing trading it, you can day trade it day to day, try to make some money from there. And then you're just basically funding your swing trade position where it's for free. There's so many different strategies to go about it, but yeah, hopefully that helped.
Yeah, no, thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, no problem, Ashley. Thank you for tapping in. Appreciate you. Aaron, what's the word?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So my question is, what book or videos or person has given you the best information on technicals and chart reading?
Oh man, that's a great question. So I definitely strongly recommend Juicy Trades. He's somebody that I give a lot of homage to when it comes to technical analysis. I wasn't really sitting there and reading books, so I don't have many. Like, I have Trading in the Zone, and I have financial literacy books that I've read, like 3 Feet from Gold, Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like, I've read those books, but and I think that helped me with psychology and and protecting and valuing my dollar and my capital. But as far as anything specifically to trading, I haven't really read anything. So I can't really give a strong opinion on that. But for technical analysis, definitely, it just comes down to you seeing it. Hold on. Sorry about that. It just comes down to you seeing it and then you practicing. And when you practice, then you ask and you inquire on, like, from people who may have more experience than you. Yo, is this right? How do you feel about this? Like, how do you think on my support and resistance lines? Like, how's my trend line? Stuff like that. That was a game changer for me, because as I was learning, I had people in my, you know, community that I was working with, and we was figuring it out. Yeah, King Tenzi he's in the chat right now. He's great at technical analysis. Really, really dope trader. You could tap in with him too, and he does 101s. But yeah, it just comes down to you doing it over and over and over, and watching it and watching videos, and then just sticking to your edge and doing one indicator at a time until you're comfortable adding to that. You don't want to have 20 different indicators at first. You want to master few and then add to that, and then you have a checklist. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, no problem. Jumba, talk to me.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, so just going based off of what you just said, like you said, start small, start off with one indicator. Once you master that, go on with the second one. That's probably going to be the most helpful. So I've been trading for a while, and I'm just recently getting into the wave of flows, So I do the technical analysis, the chart analysis, resistance, pivot levels, VWAP. The main tools that most people use, but recently I've been looking at flows, and so I know there's a couple services out there, Unusual Wells. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of that. But I'm just trying to figure out what you guys use, or if you guys actually use flow services when you guys are going into positions. What are one of the main things you guys look for? Obviously, like a high flow, that's common sense, but like other indicators of chart analysis when you're looking at flows from that end of day trading session.
Nah, for sure. So that's a good question. And you'll be surprised, man. Not everybody knows what Unusual Whales is. It's like it's so much information out there that most, like, especially like newer traders, they're probably like, what the hell is that? They have no idea. There's so many different services that shares flow and where big money's going. For me, I stick exclusively to Flow Algo, and I do use Unusual Whales. They have information on their public Twitter. It's just free information, and it's valuable information. So for me, like, I'll go in Proper Rocket Club in the Discord. We just go to the search bar and we have everything automated and sent to a channel. So when I'm typing tickers that I'm playing, right, that I'm interested in doing some due diligence on, I'll type that ticker in. And there's been times that it's like, oh, Unusual Whales has, like, they reported or they alerted some big money that's favorable to the position that I'm interested in playing. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is interesting. So fundamental analysis, check. Technical analysis, check. Market condition, check. Looking at the options chain, volume is there. Open interest is there. Unusual Whales is alerting it too. It's just more confidence and conviction. So it's not the end all be all, because sometimes they're wrong. And sometimes you got people that made, a $500,000 donation on a weekly contract that they got clapped on. That they did. And it's like, damn, but it's just another indicator. And I do like Flow Algo for sure. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, so Flow Algo is one of them. And I recently, I don't know what you guys trade on, but I do TD Ameritrade. So instead of going through those, Unusual Wells, they're solid. I did my background on them. But I just recently looked at Ameritrade on Thinkorswim. It provides you like the end of day flow. So, after market closes around 4 o'clock, when I get some downtime around 6, 7, or, towards this time, I just do like my due diligence and look at those favorite tickers that I usually just make sure I master 1 or 2 tickers. Let's say I'm doing XLK or XLF or, ETFs or whatever. And I just checked the flow on Thinkorswim. But there are, like you just mentioned, I use a Finwiz one of them, or Well Wisdom. Well Wisdom is another one that's it's free game out there too. They don't charge anything. It's all that. I haven't looked at the one that you just mentioned, Flow Algo. You said,
Yeah. Yep.
all right, I
Yeah.
got you. I'll put that down.
I will recommend though. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, you don't want to put in so much on your plate because it's gonna be sometimes it's the same information, but it can also lead to overload as well. Because then it's like, I don't know how many monitors you have, but I have 3. I got my 2 main monitors, but and then I have my MacBook, right? And I actually mostly trade off of my phone. That's just what works for me, you know. So sometimes there's a thing as overloading information, you know, and I've been there, and then it's like me trying to gather so much and rummage through all these screens and all these different things that I sometimes miss entries or exits, you know. So it's something that I definitely want to put on, you know, right, to just be careful with, you know, because sometimes all you need is 1 or 2, and then you can go with that, and then it's fine, you know, because it's not Pokemon. You're not gonna catch them all. You know, but it's like all you need is just that one trade to hit, and it's a game changer, life changer, you know. So
all right, yeah, man, appreciate it. Thanks for the game.
No problem, Jumba. Kenneth, what's going on?
Brother Seven, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm happy to be here, happy to serve.
Yes, sir. Really appreciate you, man. I got a quick question. Right now I'm currently a scalper, momentum trader, but I find that I'm looking in the markets and I'm usually missing the meat of the play. So I kind of get in late, try to get my little crumbs and run. So I'm curious, let's say it's a Sunday night. How are you looking for your plays? Or even on a daily? How are you going about finding plays?
Nah, that's a great question. And, you know, I understand what you're saying, you know, where it's like that's the worst. I hate that. And I you know, everybody gets in that position sometimes where it's like, fuck, you know, you're trying to get whatever you can, but the move is already made, you know. And that's actually something that I tweet about, you know, about supporting something before it's cool. Right. You want to get in before the move happens. Well, during the move, like, of course, like you're scalping. So you see the momentum of where the money's at, you're getting in there, you're getting out. Like, and that works, you know, for sure. But the really big scalps, the really big returns is it is on the more riskier side, but because you're anticipating something that you don't know will happen or will not, like, you know, nobody can really tell the future, you know, like that's how trading is. You're just using analysis and due diligence, and, you know, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you hate to see it. But it's kind of just like it's supporting something before it's cool, you know, that you think there's a catalyst coming. So for example, like Roblox, that was a great trade for me and a lot of people in Profit Rocket Club, and a lot of people even in other communities that I shared my due diligence with, you know, and they took it and ran, you know, because they agreed.
Hola.
And what's up, Peter? Raise your hand, please. But anyway, so with Roblox, they like I was in it before the volume came, before it was cool. So I was in there sitting pretty like nobody's business, and it was just going up and up and up, because it's like now the volume is triggering and you got the big money coming in, and now there's call sweeps, and I'm sitting there happy as hell because I believed in the play before then, you know. And that it's a difficult thing to do. It's not something that happens all the time, you know, but it comes down to finding those plays before they run, buying low, selling high, right? And as far as like, you know, how do I find my plays? Like I do the same strategy all the time, you know. So like I'm going through earnings whispers, and I'm looking to see what has earnings, either like the week, or I don't really go further than 3 weeks out. So I'm just like, okay, this has earnings in 3 weeks from now. You know, now I'm already looking about, you know, where is it on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly? Bottom of the Bollinger Band? Is it high? What's the RSI like? You know, what are their, you know, I'll do my due diligence from here. What are the analyst ratings? I'll look at, you know, are people buying, holding, selling? Damn, okay. What's the high, average, and low price targets? Where are we at? What are we looking at? You know, I'm doing all these different things, and, you know, as a checklist. And then from there, then I'm looking at, is there any flow? Is there any unusual whale? And like, because sometimes the big money will show you what their intentions are before it even happens. Or like, like they're the big money, like big. When I say big money, I use it loosely as in multiple entities, right? So like we can say big money A, they can be the indicator that big money B, C, D, E, F, and G are gonna follow them, right?
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like I look for those things ahead of time. Like one play that is an example of this is a play that is not popular. Craft.
Mhm.
This is it's the funniest thing in the world. Like we're talking about mayonnaise packets and shit, it's like, but I was in this trade before it was cool. And I saw it from doing like my due diligence. I've seen the average price target. I normally look for things that have like over 15 analyst ratings, and you can find more. This is just what Webull has right here, but like you can always dive deeper. I did my due diligence. I saw call sweeps coming in. I'm like, who the hell is playing craft? But like nobody's talking about it, right? So what did I do? I got in because it made sense to me. I'm like, hey, long and behold, this was a play that I was holding for weeks, and it was just going up and up and up, like 100%, then 300, then 500, then 800. And I'm like, fuck, my only regret is that I didn't buy more. Because I'm like, who plays craft? Right. But it's just like, getting into it before it's cool, doing the due diligence, buy low, sell high, fundamental analysis, all those things. Once you get that checklist that makes sense, that's when you pull the trigger. And then you're going in with a position that you're comfortable with, and you're just letting it fly, so yeah, man. I hope that helps. Like that was
a lot, brother.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. Great question. Because
thank you, brother.
Hey, I still do it all the time because it's just like, you don't know what you don't know. So it's like, who the hell would have thought that freaking Baidu would go insane today?
Exactly.
Look at this shit. What the hell?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The worst part is that the people that I trade with, we were waiting for this move, man. We're waiting, and we got calls here, and we ended up like, it was a small win. I ended up getting out. I can't speak for anybody else, but it ended up coming down. But this was the move we was waiting for. Yeah, this is 9,000%, dude. Like, insane. Like $1,000 goes to over 10,000 easily. It's but and that's just saying like it's hard to perfectly time it at the bottom, but
for sure,
even if you got it around here and you sold up here, like you're getting over 5,000% on a weekly contract.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
Right. So like it happens that you just miss it sometimes, like but you just got to keep showing up every day, and you'll get those crazy scalps. They're inevitable. They're inevitable.
Right on, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. Gonna go to some of these questions in the chat. Somebody said trading Thursday and Friday can help build your account because weekly contracts are cheaper. Yes, that is true. However, there's always two sides to a coin, man. Thursday and Friday getting weekly contracts, getting 0-day contracts, sure, they can build your account. Also extremely risky. And most blown up accounts happen from people getting Thursday to Friday calls or Friday 0 days, and they don't know what to do with it, because it's like as fast as you can go up, 30% on a position, you can go down 50 even faster with 0 days. It's extremely dangerous. You got to be very careful. Let's see, how far do you go out on your contracts? So I used to play like super out the money until I realized that's not wise. And it's like being cheap. It's like, oh yeah, I want to pay less. You want to pay less so you could buy more, but that's not always the right strategy. There's a thing as buying too far out the money. So you got to be very careful with that, right? You want to make sure, like, sometimes paying a more expensive, price for a contract is favorable because it's closer to the money. There's less room for error, so I take that into consideration. I always take into consideration as well, how much does a company move from a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis? If something only moves 20 cents a day, why on earth would I get something that's $10 out of the money? It doesn't make sense. you know, so you got to take all those things into consideration when you're picking your strike prices. Yeah, no problem, Peter. Yeah, I mean, I see just more comments and stuff. I got about like 5-10 more minutes. If you guys have any questions, just raise your hand. It's definitely been a pleasure. Type one if I've been providing some sort of value, you know, if some of these questions have helped you out. I want to know, and I want to make sure that we're doing something right here. Perfect. I love to see it. I love to see it. I love to see it. And if you ask a question already and you have another one, feel free, man. This is, want to make sure I help you guys. Just raise your hand again. Doc, you're gonna be litty. Hey, I hope so. I really believe in this play. So there's a couple bangers that are setting up. And I'm really excited. There's another one right here. Once it gets over this blue line, it tried to today. Once it gets over it cleanly, oh man, gaps get filled. Price has memory. This is a John that has 3 gaps to fill. Oh, you out? Come back, yeah. Yeah, because I'm almost done. I literally got like 5-10 minutes left. I'll stay a little bit. I'm gonna come back anyway. So. Yeah, so just come back then. Do you think? All right. Yeah. I'm in this charge port trade until March. I deleted the app. Yo, I've been there. I understand. I totally understand. But I mean, yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm gonna stop the recording. And then yeah, I'll see you guys in Profit Rocket Club or on Twitter. And we're gonna get right for 2022.
Oh, what's up, Seven? I just got one quick question, man. I don't wanna
Oh, nah, you're good, bro. This is why I'm here. What's good?
Speaking of Roblox, I started looking at the chart. It looks good, but then I like one of my issues is the entry. Like I know how to see potential, but I want to get like a good entry where I don't get in and it starts pulling back. What time frame are you looking at? The 15 or?
Oh, nah, hell no, bro. Entries, I'm literally, wait, hold on, because this is funny. This is like look how much of an enthusiast I was for Roblox. Like I really believed in this shit to go crazy. But let me get rid of all these lines. Hold on. Boom. Okay. Damn, it still hasn't filled this gap. That's tragic. But it looks like it's ready to go back up. Average price target is 116. Let's see.
My target looks like it could be 120, but I would get like a 115 call. So, because usually I've been hitting like that, and I've been getting over 100% lately. Because I've been getting it close to where I know it's gonna pass it on the way.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, dude. Not so like to answer your question, I'm looking at entries from the daily and weekly time frame, bro. Like that's where I time my entries. That's where I'm like when I'm doing my support and resistance. If it's close to support or like it looks like it's bouncing off the 200 moving average or so, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a good entry. Like right here, people didn't like it when it was pretty. I haven't looked in Roblox since they had their investor day, since I feel like the metaverse hype died down and the rotation was done. Because like we know the metaverse, anything metaverse related was going crazy for 2 weeks. It was insane. But once that hype died down, I was like, all right, cool. It's been real. Right. So like around 92 would have been a crazy sniper entry. But another good entry as well would be around 104, 105, because then it's breaking that 9 EMA and it looks like it will continue. Once it breaks that 9 EMA, then, the next really big resistance would be around 116. Right here.
So you don't use the small ones to get in and write it up?
Sometimes I it's so crazy because when I first started swing trading exclusively, I was always on the 15-minute. I barely go on the 15-minute anymore. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do my support and resistance from the daily, weekly, and monthly, and then I'm trading from the 2, 3, and 5-minute. And then I'm looking because I have my support and resistance from the higher time frames, so they're heavier in weight. Right. So it's kind of like the same support from a 5-minute chart is not the same energy from a daily chart. Right. So I'll use my support and resistance from those higher time frames and I'll play around on the smaller time frames. So when I see it bouncing off the support, or if it's hitting a resistance and I'm switching hats and getting puts, it's bouncing off a support or resistance from a daily, weekly time frame. So it's a stronger support and resistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me know. I'll try to explain it a little bit better. Yeah, because I'll go, I do my entries on 2, 3, and 5 minutes, especially when I'm scalping or I'm trying to swing trade. I don't really use the 10, 15, and 30.
I don't chart no more, man. I'm gonna keep it 100. I stopped charting a long time ago. I just used the moving averages. I was using that as my entries.
Yeah,
because I noticed it bounces off of them a lot. So but then I was thinking maybe if I move the time frame, maybe if I use the time frame to get like a sniper entry where I'm up, That's why I was trying to find something out like that with the time frame, because I stopped charting a long time ago, man. I just have to learn how to look at it better to see, is it going this way or is it going that way? And that's it.
Yeah, if that strategy has been working for you, then you're doing
it. Yeah, it's been working, man. It's been working.
I'd love to hear it, bro. I truly do. That's dope. That's dope. See, Charles said, yo, 7 man, really been rocking with you since Todd community. I've literally watched and listened and so inspired by your growth. Keep motivating and sharing your knowledge. Blessing on top of blessings. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You feel me? It's something about just putting the work in and moving with unswerving confidence and forever being a student, just really believing in yourself and executing. I said changes everything, changes everything. And the job's not finished. Still, still got a lot of more work to do. I'm just paying it forward because, if I could do it, like, yeah, you guys can do it too. I've been through all of that shit and you just got to see it through, and you can't fold under pressure. Pressure builds diamonds. When you move with that unswerving confidence, every day the score is 0-0, and you start taking those wins early, from making your bed to health is wealth and drinking water and all of those things. And you have discipline in your real life. You have discipline in the market, and you start winning. And that shit the winning is a great feeling. I promise. Welcome back, Peter. What's going on? Don't be nervous now. You unmuted yourself. What's happening? All right, Peter is no longer with us. It's all good. But yeah, let's see. I need help with entry. I tried breakout patterns. I try to wait until 9 to see market trend, but sometimes I miss entry because it broke way earlier than 9, and I'm also not sure when to take profits. Always let it slip through my hands, thinking it will go more. Yeah, I mean, I addressed this earlier. If you was here, Tristan, that's not an uncommon, situation. You can't let winners become losers. Gotta take those wins. I know you're way more satisfied seeing a green P&L at the end of the day than red, whether it's $5, 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Of course you want more, but you gotta let your account grow there and get there organically. And that comes from taking those wins. Don't let winners become losers. There's somebody was just sharing today of how they had a position in Tesla that was up 60%. And instead of taking those wins, they swung it, and that 60% win was down 70%. That's awful. That's very awful. But it happens. And that's why I'm not sure if it was weeklies. I don't know all the details, but it happens. And you got to be comfortable taking those wins, because 50%, 60% on Tesla is great. It's a great win. It's a great win. But yeah, Safari, I've been doing it a couple times. I'm gonna try to do it at least once a week. The recording will be in Profit Rocket Club, and I'll definitely send out updates ahead of time as well of when I'm gonna do these mentorships and Q&A sessions. And I really enjoy my time with you guys. You guys come in with great questions, and you guys keep me on your toes and keep me sharp, for real. So I appreciate you guys. And yeah, Sunday service. Definitely the last couple of weeks have been filled with trials and tribulations, as that's just the way life is. December has been very filled with blessings and curses at the same time. But we warriors, we're strong. We got to see it through. It's a lot of hard work to do and heavy loads to lift. Sunday service is definitely coming back, and we got some big plans for you guys. I'm really excited for that. Anytime, Amy. I'm happy to be here. See, then can you answer the question about entry and waiting until a certain time, or what's best to trade? What's the best time to trade? Yeah, so it depends on your trading style, right? So if you're a scalper, if you just want to do momentum trading, then you should know by now that the high or the highest volume in the market is in the first hour and in the last hour, right? So that's where you'll find your most volume. So like there's certain people that have rules. You have to have your non-negotiable rules. There's certain people that don't trade for the first 30 minutes of the market. It's because it's volatile. It's a lot of volume. And some people just don't like that. While others, they do. And they're just like, hell yeah, I want the volume. I want to get in and I want to get out. I want to get that win and go about my business. These are things that, as you become more familiar with the market, you'll start to recognize them more frequently. But definitely the first and the last hour for people who want to scalp and get in and out of positions, quickly. As far as like me telling you what's your best time to trade, I can't do that because you got to know yourself. You and I are different. Me and Amy are different. Me and Aaron are different. Me and King Tendies are different. So it comes down to you knowing yourself, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your trading style, your edge. Once you have the answers to those questions, then you'll know, okay, what's the best time for you to trade and what's the best way for you to trade. As far as entry and exits and stuff, like I exit when I'm comfortable with my position, whether it's a win or a loss. If it's a loss, I'm out of there. It's a certain percentage, no regrets, right? When it's a win and I see a dollar amount that I like or percentage that I like, I'm out of there. No regrets. I move on. I'm comfortable taking these positions and closing these trades. And I hope that answers your question, Tristan. And this will be the last question from Anthony. What's going on, bro? Talk to me. I see you raise your hand. Let's see.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing much, man. I hear you loud and clear.
Man, just want to say thank you, man, and many blessings. I noticed earlier you said you trade on Webull. I just started trading about 2 years ago, and I'm doing a lot of options and stuff. I guess my only question really would be, do you use that TTM squeeze on there? Just by hearing you reference.
Yeah, that's the indicator, the TTM squeeze.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm familiar with it, but like I know traders who use it, but that's not one of the indicators that I use, and I trade on, I have my Thinkorswim account that I trade on actively. And I have a Robinhood account that I trade on actively. Robinhood is actually one of my main accounts. Webull is where I do a lot of my fundamental and technical analysis. I have an account, obviously, but I don't really trade on it. I just have positions that I'm holding for a really long time, and that's my smallest account, because I like TD Ameritrade the most. I think it's the safest for long term. I think it has the most resources, but as far as just technical analysis and finding things quick that are for my preference, I think Webull is great for me, so, but yeah, the TTM squeeze, that's just another indicator. There's 1,000 other indicators, and you just use what works for you.
Yeah, because I know the way you do your charting down on there. I just recently kind of started doing it all the same with the different time frames, and going to the left and marking my support and my resistance, and so. But I just had that one question, man. But I just want to say thanks a lot, many blessings, man, and I'm just here to learn, and hopefully I can give back, when I get to that level.
I love to hear it, man. That brought me so much joy just to hear that. That's great, because it truly takes a village. There's not one trader that figured it out by himself, just winging it, and just especially for people that are just starting out. It's easy to blow up your account and then just quit and move with your head down, or be like, yeah, this is not for me. Like, nah, man, it is for you. Just got to keep working and keep doing everything that you possibly could to get better, because once you do that, Yeah, man, options trading is life changing. It
Man,
truly is.
that's 100% honest, man. That's just honest, man. And you talked about taking your gains and your wins. I started with a small account. I got in with like $500, man, and I made a little money, and then I got hit. I got greedy. I had some things that were up 300%. I had a small one that I jumped in on a trade. I hit like 700%, and I got greedy and I waited, and it dropped down. I cashed out about 300%, still in the green. But
Mhm.
you gotta take those wins, guys. Guys and ladies, you gotta take those wins and build that bank account and don't overtrade. And now,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm up to about 14 in my account, and I
From
started with
$500. That's
500.
great, dude. That's
Yeah, and I'm
amazing.
just gotta be patient and do your due diligence. And the charting works, man. That support and resistance. You can literally just trade in that channel.
Yep.
Pick a ticker that you're comfortable with and trade that channel until you get real comfortable with it. And then, like you said, you can add on contracts.
Yep.
And once I started to do that and build liquidity, my account really started to grow. But you know, once again, man, I just want to say thanks for everything you're doing, and I'm ready to rock, man, and learn all I can. And like I said, just give it back, brother.
Yeah, man, keep tapping in, bro. And I'm
Oh,
gonna
for
do this
sure.
again next week. At some point as well, I'm gonna be doing more dialoguing as far as like going through PowerPoints and different stuff. But if you guys do like, these Q&As where people come up and just ask questions, I'm gonna keep doing it like this because I prefer the engagement. I don't want to be just that guy just chatting up a storm. I want to target what do you guys need help with exactly. All right, we're gonna
Oh
figure
yeah,
this
this is
shit out.
fire. This is fire.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
Nah, man. So, yo, shout out to you. Taking into account from 500 to 14,000 is incredible. And, then you take
Thank you.
that
I
to
appreciate it.
25 and then 25 to 50, so on and so forth. And then when you look back and you're like, yo, I got $100,000 account, started from $500. What the fuck? That shit is crazy, dude. It's
Man, I'm
crazy.
just trying to
And no, and
push
no,
it, man.
hey, you're gonna get there, but just take your time. You want to do things correctly. You don't
Yes,
want to
sir.
do like the meme stock wins is cute, but most people, it's like when you get those massive wins fast money, you burn it, right? You start everything
They
changes.
dropped just as fast. Hey, what's
Yep.
happening, brother?
Yep.
Oh, you're on? Yeah. Oh, all right, man. I really appreciate it.
All
I'm,
right, all
I'm
right,
still out
Anthony.
here working right now, but I
Nah, you
appreciate
good,
it.
man. You good.
All right,
Take it easy for sure. But all right, guys, I'm gonna stop the vibes. And I appreciate everybody tapping in. I love you guys. If you guys did find some value here at all, show me some love on Twitter. Would really appreciate it. And so I could keep doing this more often. I definitely want to. If you don't know my Twitter, I'm about to type it real quick. 7V Matos, there it is. And then just show me love, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. I'll share the link and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, anytime. Have a good night, everybody. And tomorrow, unswerving confidence. The score is 0-0. The score is 0-0. Don't force any trades. So like just because it's the last day of the year doesn't mean you go crazy. Just chill. Watch what the market gives you. From right now, I'm seeing that there's gonna be a little bit of selling, but that could easily be a dump and pump where they're selling first and then buying later. But maybe it's just choppy, maybe not. We don't know. But just chill, watch the market, and take it one trade at a time. Especially if you're a newer trader. If you're a newer trader, take it one trade at a time, and you'll grow your account from there. I sent the link again because this one's actually clickable. And appreciate you guys. Catch you on the flip side.